Hi all, Mark here, taking you through another knowledge sharing installment as part of the value add ADDX provides its clients. In this session, we'll be looking at workflow desktops. This component of Greentree is designed to bring information to the user rather than the user having to go and hunt for it. So furthermore, desktops can be designed for users by like role or group or actually distinct to each individual. So it's pretty versatile. Pretty much anyone can design a desktop. Generally systems administrator, those the one who would actually do it. So the outcome of this session is an understanding of the tools involved and the process in which to create your masterpiece. So sa hajime yo. That's Japanese for let's begin. Alright, so when a user first logs into Greentree, they're pretty much presented with a blank screen, effectively no desktop whatsoever. However, you might not be aware, but there are a bunch of desktops that actually ship standard with Greentree by default, and they're accessed via Workflow, View, and then Desks, just here. If you drop down the drop box here, you'll see a bunch of available desks, and your list will be less than this. This is my demo system, why there's a ton in here. But they'll range from sort of numerous aspects of Greentree. So, but to show you how to actually get and create your own, it's the same sort of thing. Workflow, system, and then organized desks. Access to this is dependent upon the security within your system against your particular user. If we click on that, you're presented with a sort of quite a basic form. The layout, which is going to be your desktop, things like the detail about the desktop, the name of your desktop, and then over here in the toolbox is quite an important bit because this is the numerous panels that you can drag and drop into your desk to start with. So let's start simple. We'll just call this my desk. The caption is going to be desk, and panel wise I'm just going to make this a 2 by 2. You can also have this desk, when you open it, pop out as a window in its own right. Most users, however, will simply keep it sort of within the system as a whole. Now, let's see, I might make this a salesy sort of desk. So on the first panel, I'm going to have a list of organizations. Drop it in. On the panel underneath, I'll have a list of contacts. Up the top will be my quotes. Now, just because I want to, I'm going to do communications in this panel here. One of the more common types of panels that you probably end up having is sort of communications and or sort of notifications. So this is just general system notifications, whether it be from another user or the system itself, like an ANA rule, for example. It's a good place to have these types of things pop up so the user is always aware of the sort of the doings within the system. So starting with organizations in this panel, let's make this a little bit larger. When I click on that, these are all the properties to do with that particular panel. And there are some quite sort of common ones that you'll edit often. Other times you just leave it as is. One of the first ones would be show as table. If you were to click that, it'll effectively show that as a table, which then you can do the formatting of that table. If you don't have it checked, it means you're just going with the standard sort of Greentree default. What I'll do is I'll leave organizations as is, but I'll actually make contacts, or quotes for that matter, a table. Moving down, most of these are going to be quite self-explanatory. Things like refresh, if I was to check that, it puts a little refresh icon up the top of the particular panel you're editing. And further down, show code, show description, well that's showing the code of the organization, the description of the organization. Allow drag, drop and drill down. Allow drill down, and to make that drill down navigatable is probably well worth it. It just means that with a list of organisations, I can double click on one, drill into the organisation. So effectively bringing up the CRM org record, and then allow me to navigate beyond that particular record if I wanted to. And going down even further, show the relationship of the org. Definitely, you know, I want to know if it's a supplier, a customer, or a reseller, for example, and that's enough for that one. Now, contacts will be just the same. We'll show the code and the description of the contacts. I do want to allow drill down and whatnot, and yeah, we'll leave that there. Now, quotes is the one that I'm going to actually edit a little bit further. So I'm going to show that as a table, and I will show, and I'll leave everything else as standard with exception to, now because we're dealing with quotes, so we've got some additional properties here specifically around the ability to filter. So right now it's set to filter on any branch. Alright, if I really wanted to, I could say, look, only show me quotes from branch 2, for example. So I'll leave that as any, and I'll show the location filter as well. Now, because I made this a table, I'm going to go to table layout, and it presents me this screen. So this is effectively my quote table. So by default, it's thrown in the quote number, the quote summary, and the date it was created, which is all well and good. Yeah, that's actually pretty good. But what I want to do though is I'm going to rename this to just simply being number. And you get the point, I won't worry about the other ones. I'm also then going to format the column to be Calibri regular 11, hit OK, and I'm going to format the heading to be Calibri bold 12, hit OK. Now that's done it to that particular column there, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the column format, and that's going to copy it across the rest of it, and I'll go yes please. Alright, so that's some very simple sort of formatting that you can do simply because I've made it a table. If I really wanted to, I could actually also grab some additional fields from the like the quote table in the background. So for example, expected date, I could actually bring that down here. Alright, this is the date we expect our quote to come through, and do that again, and that now makes the format. So you get the point of probably why it's good to turn some of your panels into tables, simply because of the ability to edit and present that information, particularly if your panel, your workflow desktop is going to become quite busy. So if I hit OK to that, I hit save, just refresh it to bring it back. That's actually quite a good thing to always do. Just whenever you're designing something, hit save and just hit refresh. Just keeps things up to date. Now, as far as availability is concerned, this is saying this desk that I just created, well, who's it going to be available for? Now, specifically when you're testing something, I would definitely take it away from all users and then just give it like yourself access. Security. Well, who's got security to do anything with this desktop? Right now it's by default, because I created it, it's assigned to me, and that's the team that I belong to, but you can edit those two accordingly. Alright, so because I've just changed the security, I'm going to save it again, refresh it. Then you've also got the ability to load the desk directly from here. I'm going to do that, minimize. So you can see here my orgs, my contacts, that's the default style of presentation that it will do. And here's more of the table style of presentation as per my quote panel. And communications, well, there's nothing come through on that, and we'll have a look as to why. It's because I haven't actually selected, well, what sort of data do I want to show. So we'll do code description, and we'll just leave it at that. So if I hit save, refresh, load, bam, there we go. So we've got a whole bunch of communications now. Now, please understand, this is really totally unfiltered at this stage. So it's in my demo database, it's showing all my orgs, all my contacts, all the communications that have come through to me. It's only on the quotes that we've actually said, well, limit it by some available filters that we've thrown up here. So now that we've done that, we've just created a very basic desktop. We did it in about, what, 4 or 5 minutes. You can sort of go away and sort of create your own from there. Now, how you assign it to somebody to be, for example, their default desktop. There's firstly, I'll show you the way you would do it for yourself. So if you go to File, Preferences, right, this is the preferences to do with your user account inside Greentree. File Preferences, click on Workflow. The very first tab is Desktops. So you can see here My Desk. So if I just drop down that and find the desk I created, My Desk, and importantly, make sure you check this. Your desk is loaded on login. So that means every time you log into Greentree from this point on, this particular desk is going to be loaded. Hit OK to that, and OK again, and then that'll be locked and loaded away. How you would do it for another user would be, once again, you need access to this. If you go via System, System Setup, User Maintenance, and then it's the exact same thing as I showed you under Preferences. Locate your user, find the workflow button, and away you go. So what I've shown you here is just the very sort of top level of workflow desktops, why they're good and why they're designed to pull data out of Greentree and present it to the user, thus minimizing the amount of time they have to go and try and hunt for data. I've shown you a couple of very simple panels that can get a lot more in depth than that, particularly when you get into something called 3D desktops. Which I'll explain in a later video. The difference is with a 3D desktop, if I was to click on a user here, then other panels change accordingly based upon selections I've made in say the original panel. So yeah, I hope this helps you, and I'll see you again on the next video. Thank you.